Alright, I'm going to do a quick tutorial here on how to solder a couple wires together. It might seem like a trivial task, but sometimes it can be frustrating, and this is the best method that I've come up with and gives the best results. So the first thing you're going to want to do to solder is two wires together is you're going to want to get a pair of nice wire strippers. I recommend a pair like this. They're pretty cheap, 15 bucks, and they give the best results for the money. Just going to want to take off a little bit of the insulation on each of the ends of the wire. Just like that. And since this is stranded wire, I recommend just twisting the ends together just to hold them together for the next step. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tin the leads. What we're going to do is we're going to take some solder, get a nice soldering iron, with a nice clean tip. And to clean your tip, I recommend some of this brass sponge stuff. It's 10 bucks online, but it works quite well, and you don't have to deal with water. Don't have to run to the sink to wet your sponge. What we're going to do is you're just going to put a little bit of solder on our wire ends. Repeat that for the other side as well. Watch out for the fumes, they can be kind of nasty. A little much solder. Get that off. Alright. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add some heat shrink tubing. Here I have a piece like this. I recommend heat shrink tubing much more than I recommend electrical tape. Electrical tape just can create a mess if you ever have to remove it. The heat shrink tubing gives a much more professional, clean looking look. So after we have the heat shrink tubing on, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of needle nose pliers. If you're working with thinner gauge wire, a pair of firm tweezers can also work. And then we're just going to take our pliers, we're going to bend a little hook in the end of the wire. There, can you see that? Little hook. We'll repeat that for this side as well. Just like that. Then you're going to take your two hooks, hook your wires together, take your pliers or your tweezers or whatever you're using, and go ahead and squeeze the ends down together, and that will hold the wires in place. And you're going to want to take your soldering iron, reheat the wire ends up. Now these already have a little bit of solder on them, but I like adding a bit more just to get a nice good joint. And look at that. Now we're almost done. The next step, oh, it's still wet. Alright. The next step is to take your heat shrink tubing and move it over the joint. Get some sort of heat source. I recommend a heat gun. You can buy them off of Amazon for like 25 bucks. Here I just have a basic Kawasaki one. Now we're just going to heat up the... Oh, whoops, not plugged in. We're just going to heat up the heat shrink tubing. And voila, we're done. Take a look at that. It's a nice clean solder joint. It's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to break, it will hold up fairly well. It looks nice.